Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the last leg of Sevens 2 before the championship. This game, Kenya versus USA. Now, currently in the overall standings, these two sides are guaranteed a spot through to the next stage of the competition. And with that stage brings the opportunity of promotion onto the main Sevens circuit. So a massive opportunity here for these two sides to build momentum for heading into that leg in Hong Kong in only 3 weeks' time. But looking through at the starting lineup, first of all for the Kenyans, it is Kevin Waikesa, George Oro, Vincent Onyala, Samuel Azati, Nigel Amaitsa, also Safari there, and Adongo Okongo to close out. The starting side for the USA, it is Biza, Ryan Santos, Aaron Cummings, Marcus Tupola, Tucker Tricky, Lucas the Camp, and Steve Thomasine, the captain. USA kicking off from right to left, and we are underway for another match of the Sao Paulo Sevens. But Kenya, they have got themselves the ball in hand, and they were dangerous on day one, currently sitting second in the overall standings. They have just suffered that one loss thus far, and that was to Belgium, who've been going extremely well. But Kenya were receiving that bonus point from that game as well. But their biggest moment on day one was beating the Canadians by the massive 40-0 in their most recent game. Looking to kick this one downfield from inside of their own 22, Kenya. And it's bouncing awkwardly towards the sideline, just slipping through the hands of, I believe it was Kevin Waikesa, so it will be the knock-on from Kenya. USA have got themselves a scrum feed. Looks like a little bit of frustration there from the Kenyans. Of course, these two sides have been playing each other throughout the other leagues of Sevens 2. There's been some great back-and-forth contests. The USA currently find themselves sitting in fourth, but they are only 1 point behind this Kenyan team. Side that's been probably the biggest surprise of the round has been Germany. The fact that they have gone from the number 1 seed to now right down, or number 2 seed, in fact, I should mention, to now right down near the bottom in this competition. Backline movement here. Now out into the hands of Tucker Tricky, who lives up to his last name. Tricky to tackle and sneaks through the defence, scores the try, and the early opportunity for the USA. They didn't have a huge amount of it throughout the first 90 seconds, but their first touch of the day leads to the try. They now lead this game 5 points to 0. It was Tupuola who passed it away to the right-hand side, and then Tucker Tricky just getting through that defensive line of Adongo Congo, as well as Safari cutting back on the inside nicely. There isn't a lot of slide at the moment out there on the field in Sao Paulo. It looks extremely hot. We saw the German side in their last contest. They actually only have 7 players remaining after the injuries that they've suffered in the earlier stages of the competition. It's going to make it even more difficult for their later game. They do have to play up against the USA, and that is actually 1 versus 2 in the overall rankings. But more than likely, unless something drastic changes, the USA should qualify as number 1 seed heading into the championship. Kevin Waikesa, of course, this Kenyan side can do something about that. A little bit of an injury here for Nigel Amaitsa, unfortunately, on the near side for the Kenyans. Now offload out the back. Here comes the big run forward from George Oro Angio, and no one will catch him. Scores the try for Kenya, gets them straight back on the board in this seesaw kind of match. Just so dangerous. Both of these sides when it comes to try scorer. Just anyone on the field at any moment can break the line. The Kenyan fans in the stands, that is one thing that the overall Sevens circuit, I feel, has been missing for Sevens 1. That is that Kenyan electric crowd getting behind the side. It's quite hot here too in Wellington, Cape Town, says Bruce there, but great finish from George Angio, one of the co-captains for Kenya, making the score now 7-all between these two sides after just the first 3 minutes. Plenty of time remaining, plenty of impact players off the bench for both of these teams. The Let's Go Kenya, Let's Go chant, I think, is going to be going for the full 14 minutes of this matchup. Kenya will probably win, says Bruce. You see, in their head-to-heads throughout this season, we have seen the USA get past the Kenyans once or twice, which is why they do find themselves sitting as that first place position. But Kenya were expected to win their Nairobi Sevens competition. That was actually where Germany snuck in and got themselves the full points available. Kenya finished third in that competition, and also in Montevideo, the Kenyans finishing third also. What tournament is this, and where is this being played? So it is being played in Sao Paulo in Brazil. It is Sevens 2. It is the last of 3 legs that the Sevens 2 sides played. This is going to be a breakaway opportunity for Steve Thomasine to score the try. He's going to get caught, though, by Kenya. Great defence from Patrick Odongo, I should say, around the other way. The ball is still going to be available here for the USA as they start to get the attack going. But pretty much after these 3 legs, the top 4 ranked sides get the opportunity on the championship 3 legs to be able to earn promotion. So that's something to look forward to. That's starting up 17th of April. The penalty awarded to Kenya in the breakdown. And that was for no clear release from the USA. Now looking to use their back line. Oh no, in fact, going to go for the kick downfield. It becomes a foot race here. It will be a battle of endurance for the 2 men chasing after it. Oh, tries to grubber it forward for Vincent Onyala, but just gives it too much of a boot. It will now be the scrum feed for the USA. But yeah, currently in the men's side of things, for the overall rankings, it does seem like it's going to be USA, Germany, Kenya, and maybe Uruguay are the other side that are going to find themselves through to the next stage. Now, of course, if Uruguay were to finish last in the overall standings for this event and Belgium were able to finish top 2, I believe the Belgian side would actually go ahead. And the reason I mention Belgium specifically is because currently they sit in that first ranked position. Uruguay is sitting 3rd, so a couple crucial games for the Uruguayans around the corner, including their game up against the Kenyans. But we have still got the Let's Go Kenya, Let's Go chant with 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Currently, these 2 sides are level on the score sheet. And we have got their tough match, says Ruth there too, and come on, the Stormers practicing for next week. It's going to be a big game. Azamaites still on the field. I think he was. Wait, hang on. I'm looking through the back line at the moment. I see Azati is out there. He was starting. I didn't see him go off. They kind of, unfortunately, didn't show a shot of him at the back. They also don't have it registered as him going off, so I assume that he got back up and was rearing to go. There is going to be the penalty going the way of the USA. I can see Safari's still on there. They are currently showing more crowd shots than they are of the field as well. But currently still another 70 seconds remaining of this first half. And I'm sorry, Happy Bulls, Sharks, Lions, and Stormers all made it. Amazing. Says Rufy, a very good round for South African sides in the URC. Patrick Odongo Congo, he is still out there as well. I think Amaitsa is still there. Line out 1. Oh, there's an offside advantage in favour of the USA, so they'll go right back for the penalty. It's where I wish my eyesight was slightly better, or they did have a camera slightly closer to the players. But now, USA have the opportunity to slow this one down. Good morning, Hamish. How was golf? It didn't go as bad as I thought it would. And our team, it was an Ambrose competition. Our team actually finished in 2nd place overall. Now, there were only 3 teams. I'm not going to exaggerate. But we thought we were getting last because the golfers that we had in our side had nowhere near the experience as the other teams. But we did all right as a whole. I only lost 1 golf ball during the regular round. So that's a bonus. That was trying to be a bit too fancy and hitting it straight into the forest, which was not the plan for that shot. But yeah, we finished 2nd. My dad's team won by an extra 7 shots, but their highest handicapper, I think, was 10. So we were always up against it. Off the stick, nice tackle on Lucas the Camp. Now going off to the left-hand side. Nice skip past there. Cummings. Across to Ben Brazil, who has made his way onto the field for the USA. They've still got 30 seconds remaining of this first half period. Looking for a bit of a counter ruck there. Kenya managing to rip it back in the breakdown. On to the left now. Chance to be able to score just before the end of the first half. Right, I can now see they've gone with a shot close enough that they have made a change. David Anaya Gige, is that how you say his name? He has made his way onto the field, and that must have been for Nigel, I might say. Now off to the left-hand side again. Stepping on the inside, George Oro with a big bump off. He has already scored once in this contest. Now left-hand side. We're currently 1 minute past the halftime siren. The Kenyans, they will keep on going until they can score. George Oro passed on the outside. Finn there close to the sideline. Offloaded back in. Loose ball. Kenya pick it up. The step there on the inside. And it is that man I just mentioned. The replacement David Noyagike, who has scored. And just at the perfect time too. It is going to make it halftime in this contest. And Kenya are going to have themselves a handy lead of at least the 5 points, if not more. Trying to get themselves that little bit higher in the overall qualification. I'll mention, if they can beat USA here, they would get quite a nice hefty lead. Definitely if it's more than 7, and then that potentially gives them the opportunity to finish first in the overall standings rather than in third. Already they should finish high enough above the Germans that would actually put them into second place for the qualifying, but that one has missed in terms of the kick, so it does make the score 12-7 at the halftime break. I just can't get over how much support Kenya have in the stands. And again, it's something that has been missing from the main circuit, and it's going to be absolutely awesome seeing the bigger crowds for the championship legs. And Naigige is the youngest in the squad, debuted in Nairobi. Says Guyo there. I wish you could read people's fortunes, you psychic. Says Roof, I don't know about being a psychic. And also, did you have a golfing competition? It was like a family memorial golfing thing. So, yeah, 3 teams of 4. Me and Mum were on our team. And then also we had someone who was 15 who's only played maybe like golf, I want to say 3 or 4 times. And then a younger fella who probably only played golf about the same. But I think we did all right as a whole. Halftime at the moment. It is 12 points to 7. Every time you just see this Kenyan's crowd, it just makes you smile. The support that they bring to their side. And the thing is, if they can play as much as they are supported in terms of in a positive way, they could sneak onto that 7th circuit for next year. I'd say that at the moment, Great Britain, probably the team that is a little bit the most nervous heading into the next leg. Of course, South Africa, they will be feeling cool, calm and collected because no matter what, they cannot be demoted. They can take out the overall championship. And that is something that they'll definitely want to do, back up the overall point standings championship that they've already received. Kenya, ready to kick this one off for the second half. Currently up by the 5 points. I don't know if that's enough up against the USA. I think more than likely they'd like, I'd say 2 or 3 more just to be safe. And g'day, when is Argentina playing, says Katzenel. So they are going to be in action up against the South Africans. Only in about 30 minutes time. We are going to be covering their match on the channel as well. And what does South Africa need to do to qualify for the championship weekend, says Haino? The honest answer is nothing. They're actually already in a position where they can qualify. They're sitting second in the overall standings. Now, of course, finishing number 1 would be, I believe, beneficial for the overall seeding, but it is top 4 who go through. And at the moment, Brazil and Kenya looking like the 2 who will miss out on the women's side when it comes to the promotion opportunity. As Germany already played, they just played their game up against Canada. They did lose by, I want to say it was the 5 points in the end. They've been struggling big time in this tournament with injuries. They've actually only got 7 players remaining, which does mean they don't get like the subs that other teams get to make. But now ball is on the side of the USA. Currently sitting about 12 metres out from the try line. That is their own line, so a long way to go before they get to the Kenyan try line and a chance to score. Okay, so don't really have to worry. Not really, but number 1 qualifying spot is on the line, but sadly for the South Africans, because of what they've done in the early stages, what a run that is. The youngster scores again. That move kind of came out of nowhere too. Noyagike just sneaking through. That was a very well-worked try because it almost was just against the run of play. It seemed like Kenya weren't going to be able to get themselves possession, but the USA just slipping up and giving the Kenyans half a chance. And that is how dangerous this team can be. Just a drop ball there from Ben Brazil. And then the ball bounces into the hands of the Kenyan player. Finishes it off. and does score that try. He's flashed Gordon, and the Kenyan flags there from Fidel. And afternoon, hey, how are you today? Says Ruth in there too. But that should almost secure Kenya the win in this contest. Hello, Hamish from Durban. Says Brian, welcome in. Hope you are doing well. Next game that we are covering involves the women's blitzbox side. In terms of the overall rankings for the ladies at the moment, South Africa do sit second as a overall standings. And this competition by itself, currently the South African women, they find themselves sitting in fifth, with a bit of work to do to get up there. Now breaking run from Steve Thomasine. He gets caught. Oh, that's a high tackle though from Kenya. I think there's going to be a penalty try there. They will probably check it a couple times just to make sure, but an extremely high shot from Kenya. Patrick Odongo Congo does get the yellow card. The USA, they are awarded the penalty try, and now this game is not over anymore, because the USA are only 5 points behind and a man up. So after this tournament, there is another one. Says Hillard, there is, although not for Sevens 2. So the way that Sevens 2 works is you've got your 3 legs. We have had the first one in Nairobi, second one in Montevideo, and this is the third in Sao Paulo. The top 4 sides for the men and the women then qualify for what is called the championship. That involves the top 8 sides from the main Sevens circuit, as well as the top 4 from Sevens 2. And then whoever the top 8 teams are throughout that competition, I believe, then get themselves through to next year's Sevens 1. But there are actually 3 legs of the championship, with the first one taking place in Hong Kong on around the 17th of April. And then I believe there are 2 more kind of a month apart after that. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense. It's a bit of a confusing layout to get your head around for a start. And it's honestly taken multiple months of them explaining it for me to be able to fully understand it. But for now, South Africa are safe on the men's side because of winning the championship, and New Zealand are safe on the women's side from winning the championship as well. So no matter what, they can't be relegated to Sevens 2. That's that little bit of extra motivation for the main sides to try and do that little bit better on their legs. But the main Sevens 1 has already concluded. Now it's just a case of who's going to be there with these sides, which honestly at the moment we do already kind of know, because on the men's side there is too much of a gap for the 2 bottom sides, and for the women there is too much of a gap on the bottom as well. Maybe, although China could get caught up by Brazil or Kenya if they do well in this competition. Raining yesterday and this morning, but not cold, and now clear. Tomorrow will be hot. I have been surfing most of the day, says Brian. Hopefully the surfing has been going well. I haven't actually tried surfing. I've tried wake surfing. That didn't go too well. I wasn't quite able to get up and stand too long. That's a big shot there from the USA defence. Currently 2.5 minutes remaining. Patrick Odongo Congo will be off the field for a little bit more time. Now the grabber in behind. Kenya, this is beautifully done. Just need to bounce of the ball, and it's a drop one. Safari unable to hang on to it. In fact, it was Kevin Waikesa, and they'll go back for his knock on there. But that was the chance for Kenya to well and truly secure this game, but just letting the ball slip through the fingertips at the last moment. And that is where the pressure, as well as the heat in Sao Paulo, it certainly does not look cold there. I think a lot of the players are feeling it from back-to-back legs. We've got to remember Montevideo was just last week in Uruguay. It's a hard physical competition. Now 2 minutes left in the second half. Our next game is taking place in around 25 minutes' time, and that will be the game between South Africa and Argentina for the women. You mean wakeboarding? No, wake surfing. So little bit of a difference. So with wake surfing, you're not connected to the board, and it's a little bit similar but different. So yeah, with wakeboarding, you're in those boots, so you no matter what, you're connected to your board. And wake surfing, you kind of got to pull yourself up with the board on your feet. Nice run here from Kenya. Pass it on the outside, and they get over the line and finish it off there. In the corner, Ojwang, the man who scores it, that should now get the victory for Kenya, and it takes away a bonus point from the USA at this point in time. A crucial one for what could be their chance to be able to finish that little bit higher in the rankings, Kenya. Maybe go ahead of Germany. That one going off to the side. And to be fair, they could go ahead of the USA as well, depending on what the US next result is up against I believe they are playing Germany in their final game. You've got to have super balancing skills. Ankles have to be strong, Hamish, which is probably why I couldn't stay up on it for very long. We also didn't do any research. So you weren't towed by the boat then? Kind of. To get up on it, you use the rope, similar to wakeboarding. But as soon as you're up standing, you chuck the rope away. And you're no longer connected to the boat. You use the wake as your way of staying behind it. It's weird. Physics are a weird thing. But it somehow works. It was a revenge for Kenya. For how it went in Kenya. Montevideo says, Goyo now popped up. Ball here for the Kenyans. Chance to move it away to the left-hand side, and they are looking to get another try before the end of this half. Only 5 metres out. I might start with the offload, so that is great to see him still out there on the field. He must have gone off, then come back on, but it is another try. This time it's Jonikov. This has been a bit of a statement win from the Kenyans here. So they will walk away from this game with a 31-14 victory over the USA. And you talk about momentum at the right time. This is certainly the tournament to do it. Whoever finishes first gets a full 20 points. So if Kenya, for instance, were to finish first here, that would get them up to 52 points total. And that would mean that the USA and Germany, if they finish both in the bottom 3, I believe it would be, Kenya would finish number 1. But at the moment, it looks like maybe just Germany are going to be the side that finish outside of that top 3. That's a great score. Says Ruth, yeah, a very formidable score here for the Kenyans. I mentioned they've finished consistently 3rd in the other competitions, but now they will be sitting right up there, currently in that 1st position. Belgium still to play, though. Although I think actually they may have played about 3 matches ago. Belgium lost to Uruguay. Kenya number 1 on the overall standings now, I believe. Has it ended yet? It has. Oh, hang on. 1 second. Where are we? There we go. I forgot to put the scoreboard back up on the screen. But 31 points to 14. The score in favour of Kenya. Getting a big win over the USA. And after Canada as well as Uruguay got themselves the victories. Makes it very intriguing as Belgium lost in the game. Just their game today. Up against Uruguay 24-19. So for the overall standings now, I believe with the points differential, because of what Kenya were able to do up against Canada in terms of really pushing that differential upwards. Kenya's points differential is actually close to around 85 points at the moment, which is very impressive compared to Belgium's, which is sitting at about plus 17 or so. So they're a whole clear about 60 extra points, even more than that, than any other side points differential in this competition, Kenya. So they have got another game around the corner. That is going to be up against Uruguay. That has taken place in 2 hours and 25 minutes time. We are going to be covering that game on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, as well as the game after that between USA and Germany, as that is going to be the top of the regular season clash. And by that stage, we'll know exactly where not just Kenya, but also every other side will finish in the overall standings of the competition. But next game that we have got, it is going to be South Africa versus Argentina. That one is kicking off in around 18 minutes time, so be sure to stick around for that. But thank you all very much for watching. Oh, how much sleep have you had this weekend? Maybe like 4 hours or so. I managed to sneak about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours total before playing golf, which was just enough sleep to kind of carry me through. But yesterday was also George's birthday, so as soon as I got home, we ended up going out for dinner, me, George, and Daniel. So didn't get home from that until probably about 9 p.m. And then managed to sneak about maybe 2 or 3 hours before waking back up now for the rest of the sevens. So I'm definitely due for a decent snooze, but that will be coming after all the sevens has concluded. But thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in 15 minutes for that South Africa versus Argentina matchup.